Hey everyone, I'm going to show you a game from Team Russia in the World Team Championship in Kazakhstan. Russia are leading the event and it's no surprise really since they have fielded a very strong team. This game was from round 7, played between Vladislav Artemiev, the winner of the recent Gibraltar Masters, and Zviad Izoria, a Georgian-born Grandmaster who now represents the United States. So let's see how the game went. Artemiev opened with knight f3, and we transpose into the queen's gambit, accepted. So pretty normal moves so far from both sides. So in this position, queen e2 is the most frequently played move, but it doesn't yield good results. In fact, more wins for black in this position. So Artemiev played e4, which I believe is the second most popular move. One of the ideas for white is to try and get in this d5 break and open up the position since black's king is still stuck in the center. So black decided to capture the pawn and played knight c6, asking the question about this knight. Does white go bishop e3 and defend the knight, or does he capture on c6? Artemiev decided to capture, resulting in a queen trade. And here f3. So white might be slightly better in this position because of his nice pawn chain, which blocks out this bishop. But nevertheless, black is very solid with no weaknesses. Black played bishop c5 check, king f1, king to e7, connecting the rooks. And here Artemiev played knight to e2, which is actually a novelty, and he is setting up a deep trap. Ideally, black should play rook over to c8 here, or bishop e7, just being a bit cautious as these bishops are lined up together on the c-file, which could fall prey to certain tactics in the future. But instead, Zviad walked right into Artemiev's trap. He played the rook over to d8, and now bishop g5. With this move, Artemiev now threatens to play e5, attacking the pinned knight, as well as rook to c1, attacking both bishops. Black responded by capturing the rook and played bishop to d6, thinking that everything is covered since the bishop now controls this e5 square, preventing e5. But Artemiev has seen deeper. He played rook takes d6 and e5 check. This was the idea, luring the king up the board. Bishop f4 check, king f5, and bishop c2 check. And the king actually has no squares to go to. Hence, black needs to give up a piece. And king f6. So here if bishop takes, g4 check wins the bishop. So king f6, king f2. So what did white manage to get out of this long combination? Well, Artemiev has the two minor pieces for a rook and a pawn. But the crucial factor here is that white's pieces are much more active, and black can't bring the rook into the game immediately. For example, rook to d8, because that falls victim to e5 check. Bishop takes h7, where black cannot play g6 and trap the bishop because of bishop g5 check, picking up the rook. So Izoria tried e5 to lock out the light square bishop. We have bishop d2, king e7, bishop b4 check, just putting the king on an awkward square. So both king e6 and king f6 seem a bit risky. On e6 there could be some potential bishop b3, and if king f6, this puts the king in front of the pawn and the king doesn't have any shelter. King d7, on the other hand, blocks the open d-file. It's not really a move black wants to play. So Izoria played king to e8 and bishop a5 from Artemiev, a very nice move. locking down the queenside pawns and also taking away the crucial d8 square from the rook. Bishop d7, black has to find some way to get the rook into the game. Meanwhile, white just improves his pieces. Rook h6, looking at h2. So h3 can be played, but Artemiev plays an even better move, bishop c3, hitting the e5 pawn. So if rook captures, bishop takes, attacking the rook, and also g7, followed by bishop takes g7. And the rook cannot take the pawn because of knight f6 check. So instead of defending with f6, which would trap the rook over on the king side, Izoria played king to f8, with the intention of playing actively. Black first wants to defend g7 as his intention is to push f5. We have h3, f5, pawn takes, bishop takes e5. White has won a pawn, but black is hoping that with the e4 pawn no longer holding this knight in place, white's minor pieces will be a bit shaky. But Artemiev has everything under control. a5 from Izoria, king to e3, rook c6, knight c3, b4, and here bishop d5, a nice intermezzo. Rook c5 is impossible because of bishop d6, so here rook c8, knight b5. Rook c1, knight d6, white's pieces are very nicely centralized, and his king is very active as opposed to black's king, which is stuck to passivity. Now it's just a matter of technique from Artemiev. We have bishop b1, knight to b7 attacking the pawn. So if black pushes a4, bishop d6 picks up the pawn. So Zviad tried rook e1 check. Gotta be a bit careful. Not king to f4 because g5 and black wins the bishop. But here king to d4, rook e2, eyeing the b2 pawn, and here a4, fixing the pawn on a5. If en passant, b takes a3, a4, bishop d6, this is very comfortable for white. Both bishops can now be supported by the pawns, and there is absolutely no danger here for white. So black played rook takes b2. We have knight captures a5, bishop c2, knight c4, attacking the rook, rook a2, bishop d6 check, king to e8, and bishop takes b4. In this position, Zviad Izoria resign. White will start pushing this past a pawn, and this is completely winning. If black plays rook takes a4, bishop c6 check wins the exchange. And if bishop takes a4, knight d6 check picks up the rook. A very smooth game by Artemiev. The novelty move knight to e2 definitely caught Izoria off guard. This was the only decisive game in the clash between Russia and the United States, ensuring that Russia maintained their lead in this event. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching and have a great day.